Well, hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing amazing. Hello, Brian to Electric Boogaloo. how's my audio, my background music? Is that just enough to where you can hear it? Right? Just enough, not overpowering. See, the problem I have... Oh, you can't hear it. See, I have very good headphones. And so a lot of people don't have the quality of headphones for actually, listening to audio. They normally just have normal headphones. So I can actually pick up more sound than most computers. Let me turn it up just a tad. I know it sounds a little arrogant. I'm trying not to be arrogant. I'm just trying to say, actually, what are these? These are Shure SRH 4400. I don't know if you can see that headset. And these are for like when you actually produce sound and music. It's actually a very high quality headset as opposed to just something like you would put in your ears or your phone. Like a Skype headset. Those aren't gonna do very well. Little band. And I try not to sound arrogant. It sounded arrogant. My apologies. Did not mean it. I'll just shut up now. I'll just stop right there. Just let me know if you can't hear the background music. How about that? I turned it up just a little bit because I'm trying to go off my audio meters. And my audio meters are showing it's a just below 40 decibels, negative 40. So that should be good. Can you do an extra arrogant episode today? You know what? I probably could. Buffet. Let me put on my ascot. Talk about my yacht. Put another strip on the barbie. I don't know what accent that. God, that was horrible. I don't even know what accent that was supposed to be. That was supposed to be an arrogant accent. I don't know if I even pulled that off. Oh man, so I don't know if you noticed, but I did not stream on Tuesday. Last minute, I had a very important personal issue come up where I had a friend in a situation in which, the topic of suicidal thoughts came up. So I actually took the entire day off of work. I called in and said, I got to go handle this. Buddy reached out to me. So I went and spent the whole day with him and made sure he got the help he needed. I was there to support him in his time of need, so everything is good on that front. So I apologize for not showing up on Tuesday, but I had a good reason. And so my message to everyone watching is if anyone ever reaches out to you in a personal crisis of theirs, please do your best to support them and get them the help they need. It doesn't mean you have to personally be involved, but try to find a way to help those people. Just a few hours out of your day can really make a big difference in someone's life. So totally worth it. All right, so that means I am a little behind. However, I haven't heard back from Pluralsight yet. So if you missed, I need to kind of catch up because I did miss Tuesday. So to get everyone up to speed, on the last stream, we did finish the course proposal. We submitted it to Pluralsight, and I have not heard back from them about that proposal yet. However, we continued on just creating some slides for the first module, which is just like the course introduction. And today we're going to continue creating slides because I don't think there will be a ton of feedback that will require changes, so I feel confident that I can continue forward creating content, even though I haven't got their feedback yet, right? So I think we can still be productive and still get some stuff done. However, there was one thing that I need to take care of, and everyone can help me here before we get on the course. Just a little sidetrack. I got an email from Microsoft because they are working on the Windows Template Studio, right? and they have support for Prism. And I need to just review a change that they've made based on my feedback, because the issue was, you know, what was happening is they have this app where they have a login screen, and, you know, they were closing a window and trying to show the login screen, but the app would close. So I told them why it was happening, and then they made some changes, but now we have to go back. I had to review that, and I'll explain it, but it should only take like 10 minutes max. But it's something I have to do, so bear with me. I'm going to follow this link they sent me. Actually, let me hop over to my desktop so everyone can see. And there's this forced login app they've been building out. And what was going on is they were logging in. And so, kind of right here, log in, log out, right? So what was happening before is in the onlogged out, they would have this first before this line. And that would close the application, right? They would say, okay, close the main window, then show the login page. And they couldn't understand, you know, why the application was shutting down. And that's because the shutdown mode of the application in WPF by default is on, I think it's called last window closed. So essentially when all the windows are closed, the application will shut down, right? No matter what is set as your main window. So what was happening is they were closing the only window that was open before they showed their login window. So now they changed it to say, oh, okay, I understand now. We'll show the login window first, then close the application, and now magically it all works. And yes, it does. However, when I briefly looked at this, now what they're doing is when they log back in, right, through their login window, they're setting the main window to create shell and then showing it. However, this is a Prism application. This is not going to work the way they think this is going to work. Okay? Essentially, let's just, I'm going to show you. Let's hop into the source code real quick, and maybe the aha moment will hit you square in the face. Prism application base. Let's go to initialize. So essentially what happens is when you create a Prism WPF application in the initialize process, right? We call that method create shell. Now, if you're familiar with this, this is the method that you override in your application class and you provide that shell. Well, then what happens is we create the region manager, right? We make sure we call update regions, and then we call initialize shell. So, by default, when you create a new window in a WPF Prism application, it does not have a region manager. You have to set that region manager. And so if you go back to what they're doing, they're just calling create shell. Therefore, they are not getting the region manager assigned to this shell. Therefore, their application is now broken when they log into that, right? So I need to provide more feedback to them really quick, explaining that they can't quite do what they're doing, right? So I don't want to expose their email addresses, so I'm just going to type this on a separate screen, just really briefly. And essentially I'm going to say, your approach will not work as it is currently implemented. While you did fix the app closing issue, you have introduced a new issue. When you call create shell, you are not assigning a region manager. If you look at the Prism source, you'll see this line of code in the initialize method. Okay. Ooh, that's... How do I back that up? Oh, no. Okay. I got some formatting issues on my email now. What the heck? Okay, let's... Oh, there we go. I just had a copy as text. I guess it pasted like as an image or something. That was weird. All right, just fixing my format issue. Okay, so now that I told them that, so in your case, you need to assign the region manager and update the regions on your new shell instance before showing it. Okay. I think that will do it. Let me just send that off. All right. Dan, I've never looked at the Prism source. Is it interesting? It's very interesting. Actually, what's really interesting is the legacy code that I'm scared to touch. Not a lot of people know the complete history of Prism, but it was born in Microsoft Patterns and Practices a long time ago. So I did not write every single line of code in Prism, and there are parts of it I am terrified to touch because it's quite complex, right? Yes, Dan. I mean everything related to regions. Regions it's a complex concept. In WPF, it's a complex concept. And so it takes a lot of complex code to handle all those scenarios. But anyways, okay, we fixed that problem. Now, one might be a good series. It may be. But I need to finish this series, which is updating that Pluralsight course. So let's get back to that. Back to business. Let me just review what I did last time, because I'm a little hazy. Like, I don't really remember what we got accomplished. So I know we got the slides done. And this was the course introduction, so getting started. This basically talked... Okay, this is simple. We just talked about Prism, GitHub, what it is, where to get it, and some tooling. Okay, perfect. So that means... Let me open up my course proposal. The next one we need to do... So we're going to work on slides, and if we can finish the slides in time, we'll start knocking out some samples. So we did the course introduction. Now let's look at... Oh, creating your first Prism application. Okay. Dan, it's simple as Xamarin Forms, which is why I finished the PR and merged it already. Oh, wait. That'll be September the future when I figure it out. Yeah, exactly. And actually, it is much easier in Xamarin Forms. Much, much, much easier. Well, it should be. It depends on how far you take it. Are you going to give it its own navigation stack, its own navigation journal? Are you going to handle... well, you should probably... Yes, you most definitely should handle custom region adapters. You need to support that. Like, hands down, you have to support that. Are you going to... Custom region behaviors? You're going to add support for... I don't know. I mean, it can get pretty hairy. Let's just... It's not as simple as you may think on the surface, right? All right. They didn't in the other app. Is it really needed? What do you mean? Juan Van, what do you mean they didn't in the other app? They didn't what? Regions. Oh, yes. No. There's regions in the other app. The app that I showed you? Yeah, there's regions in it. MMsoft, please do continue. I'm waiting for this course on Pluralsight. Okay. But yeah, well, just so you know, regions is the primary way to navigate in a Prism WPF application. So I would say every Prism WPF application should have the use of regions in it. Every one of them. All right. Back to the topic here. Dan, I'm starting with the API from WPF to try to keep the APIs easier to understand how to go from WPF to Xamarin Forms. But there will be changes where it makes sense. Obviously, platforms are completely different. It needs to make sense for the platform. Okay, so we have to start the slide deck for creating your first Prism application. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a peek at what I did for the Xamarin Forms slides, because I'm hoping maybe I can share a lot of the same approaches. Except there's no converting, really. So I talked about... Okay, let's do this. Let's go back here, Module 2, open up these slides. So in this case, this is going to be... Lily! Long time no see! Thank you for joining us today, my friend. Great to see you. Yes! Pluralsight. I am updating a very old Pluralsight course. And I'm going to update the entire course live on my stream. So on the last stream, last couple streams, we submitted our proposal for the update. Haven't heard back from Pluralsight on any feedback. However, we did complete the course introduction slides. And so today I'm working on the slides for the second module, which is the creating your first Prism application. So, actually, I'm just going to copy and paste this title. We'll copy and paste that right in here. So there's the title of this one, right? Creating your first Prism application. MMSoft, I've been watching your Prism Outlook. Is there a sample where you use the Infragistics menu structure? I use the Infragistics ribbon on the Prism Outlook series, MMSoft. So you can definitely see how I do that and how I create a pretty good custom region adapter to support that. And you can take that same approach and apply it to any menu item or menu system that you may have. Okay, so our agenda is I'm going to have to look at this. And we're talking about, I'm still not 100% sure about this title. I mainly put this here because I wanted to mention the Bootstrapper versus the Prism application. So let's just call it, the first one will be, you know, creating a Prism application, right? And in that topic, like in that clip, I'll kind of talk about the Bootstrapper and the Prism application. Okay, then I should talk about the initialization process. I think it's important, and I also did this in my Pluralsight, the Xamarin one, right here, right? I think it's important we understand the initialization process, because even with the Microsoft team who's doing the Windows Template Studio, they've asked a lot of questions. A lot of those questions had to do with understanding how things are initialized. So they were overriding methods that were wrong. Like, no, don't override that one, override this one. So that kind of reinforced that I should definitely talk about the initialization process. Okay, so definitely want to talk about that. Okay. Oh, I should definitely add... Okay, I see two ways to do this. One way is to manually take a WPF application and convert it, right? And then the other way is to use the Prism template pack approach, which is much easier, right? Right, something like that. Just out of curiosity, what did I do for my existing here? So I did an introduction. Yes, there's always an introduction. What is the Bootstrapper? The process. Okay, so it's similar. It's actually similar. So what is the Bootstrapper process? Demo, organize your solution. Okay, I'm not doing MEF. MEF is dead to me. Like, there is no MEF. What is the... Ooh, we got to talk about the shell. Yep. So initially, what is a shell? Creating a shell. Template pack. Okay, okay. So let's go back to our slides. We should definitely probably talk about the shell, right? What is the shell? Dan, every time you say MEF, I just hear meth. Yeah, if you ever see a an application that depends on meth for everything, you'll feel like you need a hit of meth to cope with the pain that's inflicted with the attribute explosion that's been thrown out and splattered in your application. It's pretty sad. Lily, meth is great. Oh, it has its purposes, but it's misused a ton. So for those of you wondering, you know, should I use meth? Should I use a container? Well, I'm gonna make it pretty simple for you. Meth is not a dependency injection container, right? It does DI type things, but it's not a container. So when you're trying to think of what I should use a container for internal knowledge or working pieces of your application, pieces that you know about. Meth is used for unknown pieces, specifically in unknown extension points. That's when you should use meth, right? Visual Studio uses meth for its extension framework because it's very powerful, because I can just ask for something or inject my extensions using meth. But they don't know what I'm going to be injecting, right? It's unknown to them. They're just they're exposing an API or a set of functionality to me as an author to extend their IDE. So when you think about meth, you always think, okay, am I going to extend or open up portions of my app externally? Yes? Okay, I'll use meth to expose that. Otherwise, everything else should be a container. Everything else should be a container. Okay, so we have creating a Prism application, initialization process, what is the shell, and easier way to create your app. However, let's rethink this. So if we're looking at this part, I had to really think about this. And this is where creating a Pluralsight course is complicated. It takes a lot of work. Little Panda, I leave for a second and I come back to injection and meth. What did I miss? Oh, you missed a soapbox moment. That's what you missed. I got on my soapbox for a brief moment. Mortelbox! Thanks for joining, my friend. Good to see you. So one of the hardest parts about creating a Pluralsight course is structuring your content to where it flows well. You get across the concepts you're trying to explain, and it's a coherent story. So I actually struggle. The part I struggle with most is starting each module. How do I start this? Once I get a starting point, I can always flow. Like, it just flows from there. But the hardest part for me is having it start. And this is where I'm going to struggle. I'm going to go back and forth on this because I don't know if creating a Prism application should be the first. While 99% of all Prism apps is the start, you're absolutely correct. You are 100% correct, my friend. Yes. Yeah. No, I've never even thought about it that way, but you're right. A Prism application is actually quite simple. It's only simple, though, if you get the start right. If you don't get the beginning right, you're setting yourself up for pain. But that's with any application you build, Prism or not. Good observation, though, Juan. Good observation. Okay, so creating a Prism application. I guess if I'm talking about creating a Prism, what's involved in creating a Prism application? Let's add some slides here. Layout. So I'm using the template, the PowerPoint template that that Pluralsight gave me. And so I'm looking for just, does everything have to have an image? They don't have like just title and text? I guess so. Okay. We'll just add this then. I just need some thinking space, like something to think. What does this look like? Let's go back to, what is the Bootstrapper? What did I do here? What? There we go. What did I talk about?
So what is the Bootstrapper? Task that is responsible for...
Okay. Oh, come on, Pluralsight. Really? I just want to see what I talked about. And I can't see it. Let me try again.
Hello, this is... So what is the Bootstrapper? Well, the Bootstrapper is simply a class that is responsive.
Okay.
Now you may be asking yourself, are you going to want to initialize...
Okay, so I talk about core services. Let me write this down. Where's my pen?
Core services are the non-application specific services.
So I do mention core services.
Library provides for you.
I had to talk about the Prism application.
The module manager, which is responsible
and probably the Bootstrapper.
Initializing the application's modules. The module catalog, which is used.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Which is region maintainers for your aggregator, coupled.
Okay. I'm not going to talk about iLogger Facade at all. I think I made a huge mistake when I started talking about that because people are trying to use that interface as their logging interface, and that's not the purpose of the iLogger Facade. The purpose of the iLogger Facade was allow you to use your logging framework, whatever it is, to hook into Prism's logging that occurs internally. It was never meant for you to use as its own logging service, right? That was not its intention. So I'm going to leave that out.
Have the service load your application.
Yeah, we do
provide these services.
Handle that.
How to implement them in your application.
Okay. Oh, dang it. Go back. Dan, not that we really log much in different forms, and there's not a lot in WPF either from what I've seen. Really, the logging happens a lot in the Bootstrapper process, in the bootstrapping process, and it happens in some of the region stuff. But yeah, I would almost argue we remove all that logging anyways, honestly. Something to think about. But I do need to talk about the I module manager briefly. Module catalog. What is it? Module initializer. Then we have the I region manager for sure. And yes, I event aggregator. And the I service locator. I'm not sure I want to talk about that one because that's such a bad practice. I'm not sure if I won't even let people know it's there. But I definitely, I'm going to drop iLogger Facade from this talk. And you know what? I'm not putting iService Locator in there. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Dan, I agree. I know you generally hate statics, but I'd actually say we'd be better off just having a static delegate that Prism can use to force users to more properly hook into their specific logger. Yeah.
Implement them in your application. You're going to initialize application-specific service.
Okay, so we're talking about app-specific services. What else do I talk about?
These are services to your particular app is common modules. For if you're building an application, RSS will be registered modules will use read in their feeds.
Okay. All right. So if I go back to my slides, how should this be presented? Because we're not actually going to create the application into, well, maybe. So I went from, I talked about the Bootstrapper and what it does, right? Then I talked about the Bootstrapper process, which in this case we're renaming to the initialization process. Then I showed you how to organize a solution. So I created a project, organized it. Then we created a Unity Bootstrapper. In this case, we would create... Okay, so this is actually creating the app. But at this point, we don't have a shell. Okay, I'm just going to go through this real quick so I can understand
Let's go ahead and create the
what I
Bootstrapper
did.
for our first
Blah, blah,
creating
blah.
Prism application to create
Yeah, okay, yeah. Wow, I have made this super complicated,
that's
didn't I?
going to contain all my Prism modules. That is a new. I'm actually going to put it in my source folder, commonly referred to.
Oh my god, I wasted a lot of time on
which
this.
is fine. Infrastructure. Delete the user control. To my infrastructure project.
Though I did talk
my
about...
choices from a user control library or a window, page.
Actually, this isn't bad, because... Actually, I don't know... What is your opinion? So in this demo, in the very, very beginning, I'm showing you how to organize the solution for a full-blown Prism application, like creating your core project, even though nothing's in it, creating the main application, creating some folders on disk. Should I still do that? Or should I just kind of skip this part and build on it as I need it? Like, I'll only add the infrastructure project when I need the infrastructure project, right? I think I got ahead of myself on this demo. I don't think I should have created the infrastructure project here. I should have waited until I was in a module or in a sample that required that core/infrastructure project, which I don't even call infrastructure anymore. I call it core. Dan, didn't we just talk about the fact that the template has an application and no module, but WPF apps should be built without modules? Yes, but I also told you why the template doesn't have a module. Because of naming, that's why. And because of the module catalog. So for those of you, well, everyone is unaware of this conversation Dan and I just had, is that, you know, Dan said, hey, I realize that your the Prism template pack, right, the Prism template pack doesn't have a module in the WPF application project template. It's a separate template, right? First you add a Prism project, then you add a Prism template, or Prism module using the template, right? And he says, why don't you add a module? Well, there's two main reasons I don't add a module in the Prism template pack project template. One is naming. Modules have a very specific naming convention, and they're different depending on the company. So if I were to add just a blank module, it would be named something stupid that you would have to delete anyways, because everyone knows trying to rename a project and all its namespaces is kind of a pain in the butt. So it'd be easier just to delete the stupid thing. So I don't add it because it's easier to create the project and then add a module and name it whatever you want. The second point being is that in WPF, you have like 4 different ways of registering your modules. Code, app.config, directory, and a XAML resource file, configuration file, right? And so that would just be code that you would have to modify again to get to work to meet your needs. And I don't like having project templates where you have to delete a ton of code. I don't like it at all. It's not productive to me. So that's another reason. So that's why a module isn't added in there by default. Okay, so I'm thinking I shouldn't add the core project there.
Project, a class library component. These are not the items that I would be adding.
Yeah,
Like
I can remove this whole part.
Folder solution. Keep our folder structure and our Visual Studio solution.
Because, Dan, that why wasn't my point. The point is that it's something I do think important to discuss early on. Yes, but you can't introduce concepts in a course that you haven't talked about yet. You can't talk about modules when they don't know what modules are. You have to wait till you get to the modules topic, explain what a module is, then you could talk about everything to do with modules and how you arrange them and sort them and put them together and what makes them work, right? Remember, this is an introduction class meant for people who don't have any experience starting from scratch with Prism. This is not, my advanced courses are advanced, but this is very basic, and you don't want to start overloading concepts up front, because now they're thinking, oh wait, what's a module? Well, yeah, it's... Trust me, I have some experience in this. Okay, so I think I'm going to skip this part altogether. This part is just showing creating a Bootstrapper.
And Unity.
Oh my god, this was pre-NuGet days. Look at this.
And this...
Like, oh yeah. Oh, bring back memories.
Bootstrapper.
Okay, so we create that.
Now...
Talk about the create shell.
The main window.
MMSoft, raising hand as you're talking about me, beginning with Prism. Yes. And so I don't want to throw a ton of concepts right at you and have them in the solution when you have no idea what they are.
The next step is to go into the app.xaml.cs.
Okay.
On startup.
So this demo will modify slightly because we're not using Bootstrapper anymore. We're using the Prism application. However, I can still do the same approach.
And then try to run this now is we haven't got to creating our shell yet. We'll get there. But
okay, and I did not implement the shell here because we haven't talked about it yet. So creating a Meth Bootstrapper is definitely out. There is no Meth Prism application. So then we go to talk. Okay, so let me just pause and go back to my slides. Let's take... I'm going to take this shape. I'm going to copy this. I need a new slide. Let's change the layout to title only. I'm going to paste this in. Now, this is not the WPF. I copied and pasted this from my Xamarin Forms course that I was working on. So I'm going to try to reuse as much of that as possible. However, what I did do was I downloaded the Pluralsight course assets. Let me extract this. Materials. Here. Let me look at what I did for the process. The process should be similar, but they're not the same. Yeah, they're not the same at all, actually. Oh, okay. Okay, yep, that's gonna have to change. And what I'm gonna do for this is let's go look at the source code and we will document the process. So we're gonna initialize internal. So the first thing that happens is we configure the view model locator. So let's check out our slide here. So that is correct. We do configure the view model locator. And let me try to make this a little easier myself. Okay. Next we call initialize. So then we create our container. So the container's created. I don't know if we need to talk about that. Well, yes, we do. We do need to talk about that, actually. We create our container. Extension. We create our module catalog. We register our required types. Okay, so register. Then we register types. Okay, after that, we configure the service locator. Right. Then we configure the module catalog. Dan, thankfully WPF has not insanity of region register platform types. Oh, yes. Yes, Dan, you're right. We don't have to worry about platform-specific types, which is great. Yeah, it does not have that. Okay, so we have... So here we configure region adapter mappings, which I'm not sure... Oh my gosh, actually... Whoops. Let's... Okay. Configure region mappings, right? We got to do that. After that, we configure our... Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, so... Let me look what I did here. How do I make this bigger? Here we go. View my locators, though, that's kind of new. So yeah, as you can see, it's changed quite a bit, actually. Region adapters. Region behaviors. We create the shell. Wow. Okay, I need to find a new way to represent this. Because... Okay, so after the region adapter mappings, this is why. Then we have the configure region behaviors. Right? Then we register. Dang it. I'm gonna have to drop some of this. Some of this isn't important. Like, framework exceptions, that's not important. What is important is creating the shell. What's also important is calling onInitialized. Creating the shell, initializing the shell, initializing... Oh my gosh. Okay. But these are... You know what? These could be one, like registering types. We can combine registering types into one. Right? So we could do that. We can move this up. We can move all these up one. Hey, Detonated! Thanks for joining! Yes, Detonated, there was no Tuesday stream. I had a last-minute personal issue come up I had to take care of. So I had to cancel that one last minute. We'll insert a smart object. We have to find a better way to represent... Because there's a big process. It's a lot, right? How am I going to do this? Because there's a lot to that. But I want it to look nice, too. Okay, so... Oh my gosh. Okay, so configure view model locator. Create container extension. I'm just going to say register types. Register types. Configure the service locator. And maybe I don't even mention the service locator. Right? Dan, too many Amazon boxes on the front doorstep after your wife got your credit card. You joke. There's some truth to that. I get a package delivery every day. It's pretty ridiculous. Okay, configure region adapter mappings. Then we have configure region behaviors. Right, so that's the next step. Dan, I know you mentioned last year they were putting in a distribution warehouse around the corner to save on gas. Yeah, they are actually. They're putting one in Nampa. So hopefully we'll get our packages quicker. So once we have the region behaviors, I'm going to leave out the exception types, but we are going to say we're going to create the shell. Going to initialize shell. Initialize modules. Okay, so after that, we call on initialized. Because this is the last thing that occurs. If you're going to add code to a Prism application for like logging in and things like that, this is the method to do it. Don't do it in any of these others. Do it right there in on initialized. That was the same mistake that the Windows team, Windows Template Studio team made at Microsoft. They were overriding the wrong method. Okay, so looking at this. Whoops. Let me make this a little, bring down like. Okay, so let's compare this to what we had. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I have the same number? Oh, because I left out, okay, I left out configure service locator. No, I didn't leave that one out. I left out the register types, required types. Create shell, initialize modules on initialized. Oh, I left out exception types. Oh, I left it out here too. Delete that. I think this is good enough. I don't think that the exception types, where is it? Right here. Framework exception type. I don't think this is important enough for anyone to have to worry about if you're writing a Prism app. This would be something highly advanced. So you shouldn't have to care about this. Registered and required types. So the difference between these two, okay, is registered required types. This registers all the services that Prism requires to function. So if we scroll down to register required types, you can see this is our container extension, our module catalog, our logger, our dialog service, right? Ooh, dialog service. Got to write that down. Whew, glad I recovered. I looked at that. You know, event aggregator, the V registry, all this stuff. Like this is everything that's required for Prism to function. So you really shouldn't be overriding these at all. This is mainly for the authors to override if necessary on a container specific implementation, right? Because this is the base class. Okay. I think this is a good overview of the initialization process. What did I title that here? The Bootstrapper process. I will call this the Application initialization process. Okay, so back to here. This is where I talk about, I need a slide that talk about the services that we use, right? Let me bring this back up. Hey, wait a minute. Where's my application specific services slide? Oh no, core services. Sorry, I need to go up right here. Right, we have to have core services, which are the iModule Manager. We have the iModule Catalog. You know, I'm not going to talk about, I'll talk about iRegional Manager. I'm not going to mention the stuff that you don't touch, right? But you will touch the, you will, oh, I don't know. Maybe I should. I'll type them out and I'll make up my mind. Dialog service, event aggregator, region manager. I left out iModule initializer, module catalog, module manager. Let's look back at our code here. Module manager, region editor, iRegional manager, iRegional behavior factory. That might be important. I use that. Let's see. Now the iModule initializer. No, the actually, what you would use is the module loader, isn't it? No, iModule manager is what you'd use to manually load. Okay, so region adapter mappings. So these are things that you will use in a Prism application. You're going to use, maybe not so much the module manager, actually. Right? That's kind of a custom thing. If you're manually loading modules, you'll use this. But you'll definitely use a catalog, so you have to register modules with catalog. You'll definitely use the region manager. You'll definitely use region behaviors, especially if you watch any of my advanced courses, we use these. Same thing for adapter mappings. You'll definitely use the event aggregator, and you'll definitely use the iDialog service. I think these are the ones worth mentioning. So if we look at this, I'm not sure. Well, you know what? The iNavigation journal might be worth mentioning. So I'll add that one in there as well. Just because I think it might be worth mentioning. You will probably use the journal at some point in your Prism life. You won't use the iNavigation service directly. You will not use this. You'll use that. I think so. If you look at this and you're looking at learning Prism, I'm trying to think about this iModule manager. Like, I'm not sure if I should mention this one. Because this is more of, like I said, this is more maybe an advanced scenario where you're manually loading modules. Otherwise, it's only used internally. I'll leave it for now. I can always remove it. Right? I can always remove it. Okay, change the layout. Oh no, not to that. Not to that. Let's look at these other slides. Okay, I gotta really think about this now. So Dan says, if this is a beginner course, I would say pull it out. Yeah, you probably got a point there. Because you're not using this as a beginner. But you are using a catalog. You will register with the module catalog. You will use the region manager. You will use a behavior factory for behaviors. You will use region adapters. You will use the event aggregator. You will use the dialog service. And you will use navigation journal. And actually, I will show these off. I will show that off. I'll show this. I'll show this. I will show this. I'm not... This course will not cover this, actually. I will remove that too. Because that's more on the advanced side as well. So that should come out. This course will also cover this. We will cover this. And we will definitely cover this. So if I look at my proposal, let's just scroll through this really quick. We talk about regions. Talk about modules. View composition. Okay. That's the module manager. So yeah, I think those are the core services that a beginner needs to care about. For sure. Region navigation. Showing time. Okay, okay. Yep. I think that's good. Good point, Dan. Thanks for the guidance. I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay. So that simplifies this slide where we talk about core services. So in my old course, we started out with, you know, initialize. What's the Bootstrapper? Well, in this case, we're talking about, okay, we're going to create an application. What does it take to create an application? So if I'm talking about this, and the bullet point is, you know, creating a Prism application. Well, there are a few steps to that. I still need to mention the Bootstrapper versus the Prism application. Or should I even mention the Bootstrapper? Because I don't want people using it. There's only one scenario where I would recommend using the Bootstrapper now, and it's in a non-Prism application scenario where you're writing like a plugin to Visual Studio or a plugin to some other IDE that does not have a host application. Other than that, don't use the Bootstrapper. So I should not even talk about the Bootstrapper. Yeah, I made up my mind. Actually, let's modify this. We're not going to do this. I don't want to examine... I don't want to... not what is the... Right? What is the Prism application? Because it's a class. Or what is a Prism? I don't know. I don't want to examine the different approaches. Okay, we got to modify this. I'll have to send this in as an update, possibly. This clip. Here we go. Yep. This clip will explain what is involved in creating a Prism application, WPF. Very simple. It's just going to explain what's involved in creating a Prism application and WPF. And no, not even that. It's that simple. That's all we're going to do, right? That's all we're going to do. So in this case, we're going to talk about creating a Prism application. The first step to creating a Prism. Like, I got to think about how I'm going to present this. See, like I said, this is the hardest part. I started in the middle, and that was easy. But now I'm working my way back up. Crap. I mean, my approach wasn't too bad here. Well, I say, what is the Prism application? Maybe that's what I need to do. What if we did something like that? What if we did something... right? Something like that. It's an application class. What did I put on this other one? Initializes the application. Yeah. It has core services, application specific services, right? Stuff like that. Oh. And then we talk about the core services. Oh, okay, okay, hold on. Let's do this. Let's duplicate, duplicate, bring over, get rid of this bottom one. So then I go to here. Then I go back to here. But I have to go to the animations because they have animations on these, don't they? Do they? Oh, crap, they do. Animation pane. Okay, I don't see where they're applying an animation here. I'll worry about that later. I just want the content. Okay, what if I don't do that? What if I say creating a Prism application? What if I do that? Right? But if I did that, it's almost like these should be under like this. Right? Oh, I hate starting a freaking module. This is the hardest part. Yeah, so when you start, because I got to think about, okay, right, I'm talking, here's my slide, right, I'm giving my introduction. Hello, this is Brian Lagunas, and I'm doing this, this, and this is what this is all about. And then here's our agenda. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that. Blah, blah, blah. And then we go to creating a Prism application. Prism application is a application that utilizes what's called a Prism application class. This is the base class of every Prism application, and it's responsible for a number of tasks. These tasks include blah, 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 and yeah, that's it. These core, register core services. These include blah, 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 blah. And I gotta get rid of that animation. It also does application-specific services that include this, this, and this. I mean, that flows okay, I guess. Right? And then we talk about the initialization process. Which that's easy to talk about. So creating a Prism application it's really simple. This is but I also have to talk about the XAML. Oh my gosh. Oh, but that wouldn't go here. Well, no, I don't. I should probably say you have to do that. Yeah. Then application-specific services. I think that would work. What else do I have in here besides the initialization process here? Then we start talking about the shell. And this is kind of the same. You know what? Hold on. Hold on. I forgot. I have other slides for me to look at. These slides. I forgot about these. Ah! Ha 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 ha! Look how I did that. I did all that on one slide. It is the entry point into the application. What do you think? Should I take more of that approach? Maybe? I have so many slides open now. I mean, this wasn't bad. Instead of saying, what is the Bootstrapper? You know. What is the Prism application? Right? We say that's the entry point. What'd I say? Yeah, I just pointed out it has core services. What did I put in here? Yeah, see, I can get rid of this. I can get rid of, okay. And then application-specific services. This approach might be better. But here's the what is the shell. Okay, I think I'm going to take... Oh, what is this? Contains regions. And then we'll get to that later. Because the next is regions. The next topic is regions. And that's my lead into that. Right? It contains regions. And that's the lead in to the next topic. So this is not bad, right? Entry point to application. Then we put the core services all under there. And then we talk about application-specific services. Can I copy and paste these? Let's just do a compare contrast and see which approach we like better. Whoops. So, what do you think? Looking at this, I think that actually is a little better than this. I think I like this better, actually. I might need to think about renaming. No, I could do this. Creating a Prism application. It's like I talk about what is right here. What is a Prism application? Well, it's an entry point into the application. It replaces the default base application class in WPF with a custom Prism application class. This class initializes the WPF application. Yeah, I could talk about that because bullet points aren't meant to explain everything. They're supposed to be the talking point at which you're going to talk about. I don't know if I like entry point into application. I don't know if I like that or not. I think I might initialize the WPF application. I'll think about the wording there, but I think I like this approach better. So I think I'm going to delete these. Yeah, this is better. This is much better. Okay, and then I'll find an icon later. Icon's not that important. Then we need to talk about, we'll do a new slide, layout. Now let's do this one. No, hold on. I actually like what I did on this other slide. If I can find it here. I like what I did with the shell here. So I think that's a... Okay. So that probably isn't what I'm looking for. I'm probably looking for... Okay, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for this except for the title. Come on, Pluralsight, you're killing me. I could do a title only, I guess. Yep, let's do that. Title only. And then in this case, we'll say, what is a shell? Right? And then I'm actually going to just copy what I have already. I'll take this, just paste it in here. Use destination theme. Keep source formatting. Yep, keep destination theme. I think this has to be a bullet point. Oh, it is a bullet point. How come it's not orange like the other ones? See how all these are orange? I don't know. And then I'm going to... Whoa. Copy all of that. Paste it right into there. Okay, I think this looks good. Oh, wait a minute. That didn't look right. Because if I go back to my other slide... Let's play this real quick. Oh, no, that's right. Ah, that's not right. Oh, okay. I think this is going to start with click. On click. No, with previous. With previous. I am not a PowerPoint guru by any means. Main application. Okay, I got it. I got to drag this under here with previous. And this is going to, whoops, nope, cancel. Drag under there, that's with previous. Yep, okay. I think this is going to get me the effect I'm going for. So I'm talking, okay, it's a main application window. You can think of it as a master page, yada, yada, yada. And then it contains regions. And regions are briefly this. We'll talk about that in the next module. Let's do a demo. And we hop into a demo. Okay, so if I look at this, I think that's pretty good. I think that covers this module from a slide perspective. Should I put in, like right here? Well, actually, let's go to Pluralsight, Introduction, Bootstrapper Process, and then Demo. So my demo would go after this. And I'm not sure if I should have a demo slide or not. Let's do a demo. Okay, now, the one thing I might want to talk about actually though, which I don't think I did even here, was the Prism application is actually a abstract class that has the register types and create shell methods on it that have to be over and they have to be implemented because they're abstract. So I should probably briefly talk about that. Before I go into demo. Right? Like, actually, this should move up. That should be before that. Because I gotta find a code snippet. See something? Yeah, maybe I should do something like that. I should probably, okay, let's open up Visual Studio. So I'm gonna need to grab some code real quick. Create a new project. And we'll do a WPF.NET Core project. I don't care what this is called for now. For now, I just need a code snippet. And so let's do this. Manage NuGet packages. We're going to browse for, let's do a prism.dry IOC. This one, we'll add it, install. Sure. Okay. Well, that was fast. And then we need the app right here. We need Prism Application. Whoops. No, not extract interface. I need to implement. Oh, wait, maybe I got to do this. Because Visual Studio is not liking, the IntelliSense doesn't want to work. There. Now will it let me implement abstract members? Come on, Visual Studio. Ah, right here. Come on. There it is. Patience. Just breathe. There we go. Copy. And actually, let's do this. No, that's good. That's good. Is it good? Okay, that's better. We're going to match, and then I need to shrink it down just a tad. Or wait a minute, there's a way. Format shape. Text options. I think resize shape to fit text. No. That's not it. That's not it. Undo. Shrink text. Oh, no. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. And so what I wanted to show was that these are the two methods that are required, right? When implementing the Prism Application class. And then I go into demo, right? So we talk about, what is the Prism Application? Application class, essentially to point in the application. It replaces the Prism Application and the app.xaml. It has core services. It does this, this, and this. And it has application-specific services. It's important to understand the initialization process of this application class. And then to implement an application class, you simply derive your WPF app from the Prism Application class and implement the two abstract methods, create shell and register types. And then I go into demo. But let me, as I tell the story, oh crap, that's not what I want. Format shape, fill. Where's my eyedropper? Eyedropper. Boop. There. And then I think I want to take this. Whoops. Nope. So what I'm thinking is, as I step through this, right, and I go through my slides here, I'm going to say, yeah, you have this. Ooh, let me go back. Ooh, that's pretty close. Okay, as you have this application class, you're going to replace that with Prism Application, and then implement the abstract methods, which include create shell and register types. What do you guys think about that? Think that's cool, or maybe? Throw some color in there just to make it Because those are the changes that you're making. Like, yeah, we need to implement these, right? Maybe? Yes, no? Guys like that? So I kind of did something similar here. Yeah. Well, if I did that, actually, angry little hamster color, excuse my Canadian spelling, always helps. Yeah, so if I did that, I would also have to update the XAML side as well. And actually, if I go back to my sample I had here previously, something like this. Oh, I did a cool little, oh, that's what I did to make that look not so great. MMSoft, reveal Prism application, the first method, and finally the second method. Color is good. Okay. Okay, so let's do this then. All right, so we'll do this. We'll say, I'm talking, right? I'm giving a presentation. Like, first thing you need to do is derive from Prism application. Then you're going to have two abstract members you're going to have to override. The first one being create shell. This is responsible for returning the shell, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. Blah, 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 blah. And then the next one is we're going to override register types. This is where you register your application-specific services. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Then... oh, hold on. This is what we need. Update app.xaml.cs. Update. Oh, hold on. Okay, it's coming to me now. It's okay, hold on. I'm getting a flow. I'm getting a flow here. So next, we do need to update this bad boy. I want to get rid of this. And why did Visual Studio put that up there? That's kind of weird. It's really weird. I want all these aligned. Okay, and then I don't need this. But what I want to show is that we also have to update the XAML. Right? We have to update the XAML as well. So we can't forget to leave that, to talk about that. So first, update app.xaml, then update app.xaml.cs. So the first step to this, let me duplicate this slide, because this is going to actually look like this. Initially, it's going to look like this. Oops. Come on. Nope, don't want to do that. Let's do... where's my color options? Because this is what we care about here. Right? And so the first step... yes, okay. Copy. Paste. Right? And actually, let's duplicate this again. Because I'll delete this one. Then, okay, delete that. So we'll do namespace will be orange. And our object, or what we have to change, will be green. All right, so essentially, what I'm trying to do is show you how to update your Prism application, or your WPF app, to be a Prism app. And so when I talk about the process, we say, okay, so the steps to creating one is first, we gotta update our app.xaml. We do this by adding a namespace to the Prism library. Then we update, we replace the application markup with, Prism : Prism application. Then we update our partial class. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I can't do this just yet. We need to add our NuGet packages. Right? I mean, we can't just go for it. I mean, we had to add NuGet. How's this gonna work? Am I creating more work for myself? But I think it's important. In my demo, I'm going to show doing this, but I think it's important that I show it in a slide format as well. Right? Not just demo. Because I could leave these slides out, and this could just be demo. But in an updated course, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should provide a simple text-based code overview of what's going to happen. And then we demo what I just covered. Okay, actually, we might need to modify this just a tad. DSJO slides, always nice for us that like learning through text as well. Yeah. And yes, MMSoft, downloading the slide deck is a good reference. So, okay, let's modify this just a tad. We're going to have to add another one. What is a Prism application? Right? So we talk about what is a Prism application. We talk about that it's a entry point into the app. We talk about the core services that are created that you will be using as a beginner. You will use all of these interfaces. We talk briefly about the initialization process. Then we hop into creating a Prism application, which would be here. Okay, and then let's do creating a Prism application. And there's a few steps to this. We have to add NuGet packages. We have to update our app.xaml, and we have to update our app.xaml.cs. Those are the steps that must occur. Okay, so let's... Angry Little Hamster, yes, please add that, because I am lost on what make a Prism effort different from a regular WPF app. Yes, okay. All right, so I think this is starting to flow a little better, right? Okay, so what is a Prism application? Entry point to an app, blah, 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 blah. Then we go into creating one, and the 3 steps required for that, right? The 3 steps is add your NuGet package, which I'll have to add a slide for that. Angry Little Hamster, a little late to the part I am. A party, yes, just a little, not a big deal. Okay. Then, so, NuGet packages, update XAML, update, yeah, still updating the XAML. This is how we're updating the XAML. And then we talk about, let's do this. We update, okay, NuGet packages, update our, boom, boom. This is what we do. Make this change, make that change, open up our partial class. Okay. Duplicate. Let's do this. right? Ooh, no. I kind of still want that big. Okay, I'll do this. Just because I'm lazy. I don't want to delete all of it. But I want the spacing to be the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want the spacing to be the same, but I don't want the text. Or... How about I do that? Oh, no. That's not what I wanted. Oh. Is that the highlight color? No, I want the text color. Sorry. Black. Boom. All right, then I can actually get rid of this one. Right? Nut punch. Or use Prism Template Pack. I will get to that one, actually. Okay, so... Okay. Here we talk about you need to add NuGet packages, update our app.xaml, update the app.xaml.cs, and how you do that, blah, 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 blah. Add the namespace, update the Prism app. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're not done. I almost forgot. No, that's not main page. It's called Startup URI. Right? You have to do that. We did it right here. If I go back to all my changes. Oh, man. I closed it, I guess. But yes, there is a startup URI we have to remove. Okay. I almost forgot about that. Alright, so... See, this is... You gotta constantly go over this stuff because you'll always catch something. And of course I did that on the wrong one. Of course I did. Of course. No, stop. I don't want that to be a link. Here we go. There we go. And I want to remove link. Okay. I think this is more accurate now. Okay, so now what happens? Yep, add your NuGet package, update your XAML, update our app.xaml.cs. So, boom, we update our app.xaml. We have our startup UI. First, we're going to name our Prism namespace, right? Then what we want to do is we're going to... Maybe I should make this 3 steps. Because a lot happened on that. A lot happened right there. Actually. So let me duplicate this. And let's add this. Copy. Back to here. Remove link. Hey, wait a minute. Okay, I think this is going to be better. So, yep, NuGet packages, yep. Okay, update to XAML, add a namespace, update the replace the application root element with the Prism application. Then we're going to remove our startup URI. You see how I did that? Remove that. Remove. Then we update our app.xaml.cs, replace the application with Prism application. We're going to implement the create shell and the register type abstract methods. And then just briefly talk about that, because we're going to get into create shell on the next one. And then we go into demo, and then I show you how to actually do that. I think that flows pretty well. The only sticking point for me right now is how I'm going to flow probably right here from at selecting your NuGet package. Let's go. Actually, I have this backwards. I almost missed that one. See, review, review, review. It's a lot of work to create these slides. So when you look at a Pluralsight course, everything is gone through with a fine-tooth comb. It takes a lot of time just to create a slide deck and to make sure that you have all your concepts properly structured. Initialization, then we create the application, then we talk about the shell, and then an easier way to create your app. Okay, so here's the shell. I'm going to copy this one because the shell is easily... This is really easy, creating a shell. And then the next slide, this is going to be... Where is it? This one. Okay. Let's see here. My love, money, and hot girls. What? Hello, Papa View. Hello? My love, money, and hot girls. That's an interesting name you got there. Okay, so let me copy this into there. Actually, we took a better one, didn't we? We took a better picture than that. But what I do want to copy is this. Right? This is where I talk about... hey, my love, money, and hot girls. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. So, easier way to create your app. So, what type of course are you creating? I am creating... Well, actually, I'm updating a very, very old Prism for WPF. It's called Introduction to WPF... Or Introduction to Prism on Pluralsight. So, actually... This is the course right here. Introduction to Prism. And for everyone who's interested, I'll go ahead and paste that link. You can watch it as it is now, and then you're going to see this, how much it changes. We're making some pretty substantial updates to this thing. Like, without a doubt. This is going to be vastly different. It's almost like a new course. Not so much an update. Nut punch, Pluralsight, yes. My love, money. I hope you will not ban me because I use Udemy. No. I don't ban people unless you're a jerk. So as long as you're not a jerk, we're all good, my friend. All good. Everyone needs to be nice and courteous to each other. And it's nothing but love. Nothing but love. Okay, see. We want to shrink text. There we go. Okay, so I need to update this. Item templates. Actually, I kind of forgot what templates I have for my Visual Studio, Marketplace, Prism template pack. How do I make money using my skills? Well, for one, I create training such as my Pluralsight courses, and I have a full-time job. That's essentially how I make my money. Detonated. The goal is improvement. As long as you are improving it, doesn't matter what the source is. True that. Do you create niche sites? No, I do not create niche sites at all. I share as much knowledge as I can in the free time that I have. And I just have my day job and my Pluralsight courses. That's all. The other way I can make money, if anyone's interested, is you can actually sponsor me on GitHub. You know, up to like $1 a month. So I have a few sponsors that help out. You can check those levels out. If you like the stuff I do in the community, you like my streams, you like my Pluralsight courses, you like my YouTube videos and all the stuff that I do, feel free to send a coffee my way. So we have a blank app, we have a module, Prism user control, Prism window. Okay, so I need to update this. So we do have a viewModel template. We have a user control template, a window template. Ooh, now that I have a dialog, I should create a dialog template, like a custom dialog template that implements iDialog aware. Let me make a note of that. I need an iDialog aware item template. Kind of like a, and a dialog window template. Just to make it easier for everyone creating those things. Okay, so we have a WPF project. We have a module project. Actually, we'll say it's a blank project, actually. Why don't you start your own startup and get millionaire? I wish it was that easy, my friend. I really do. It's not that simple. Especially when you have families and responsibilities, and you need health insurance, because I live in a country that doesn't give everyone health insurance. We got to fight tooth and nail so we don't die of the flu, right? So a broken leg doesn't bankrupt us, things like that. And yeah, I mean, money's not that important to me, I guess. Also, like, oh, detonated. Yes. Money is not my love. I don't live for money. I don't work for money. So I think a big mistake a lot of people make is that they live to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, they live to work, but they don't work to live. I have a great work-life balance, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. And I'm not trying to work myself to death. I spend time with my family, my friends, my community, and I get paid enough to where I can support myself and live a comfortable life, and that's all I need, man. That's all I need. I do not need to be rich by any means. I'm already rich. I'm comfortable, healthy. My family's healthy. We have food in our bellies and a roof over our head. That's all I need. And yes, Detonated also said, it's also easier said than done. If it was that easy, everyone would do it. Okay, so I'm looking for, this is what I'm looking for. This, right there. Ah! I don't like that one, actually. My love money. In which company are you working now? So I work for a company called Infragistics. Great company to work for. Great company to work for. I don't know if I like that. We are a UI control vendor, right? So we write UI components for various controls, or for various platforms, such as WPF and Xamarin Forms and WinForms and all this great stuff. I don't like this image. It doesn't look right. No, it's not a startup. The company's actually been in business for over 30 years. So it's a privately owned company, and it's been around for a very long time. Here, I'll actually I'll paste a link in here for you. You can check us out. And we're hiring. Depending on what country you live in, we actually have a couple positions open in, I think we have some in London. We have some in Bulgaria. I think we have a position open in, no, I think we filled the position in Japan. I think we filled that one, actually. Career, let's just look real quick. Careers, job listings. I'm not sure what we have now. New Jersey, Bulgaria, and London. So we filled the Japan spot. That is no longer available. Okay, so... I don't like this picture. Let's do this. I'm gonna modify this. If I can copy and... I can't paste it up. Are you serious? Oh, there it is. Oh, but that's ugly. Okay, that doesn't work. I was hoping just to edit the thing. You know what? I'm doing this. Sorry. It looks a little better than nothing. Oh, Soft. Clip to recenter section. Oh, that's a good idea. Because I was thinking I could get rid of this side here and just have... So let's make this a little bigger. Right, so... Can I right-click? Format picture? Reflection glow... Position? How do I do that? Size? I'm not a... Oh, crop. Crop, right here. Width. I think the width, I need to change the width. Oh, wait, that's not working. I'm not sure how to crop position. Oh, crop position. Just... Okay, that's not it. Left. There. Oh, I like that. Better. Thank you, Soft. That works perfectly. Oh, I might want to update the... Just a tad. There we go. Perfect. Looks pretty now. Yeah, so love my money. Does your company look for a degree while hiring? It depends on the position. It really depends on the position you're going for. It may or may not. May or may not. I didn't get my job because of a degree. Let's put it that way. I hope you become the CEO of Infosys. Thank you for the positive vibes. I really appreciate that. You know, it probably won't happen. Honestly, I'm probably as high as I'm going to get in the company. I report directly to the VP. And then the boss up from that is the CEO and president of the company. So they would have to retire in order for me to get any higher in the company. So it is what it is. But you know what? I love my job right now. They actually let me do this during work time. They let me share my knowledge. They help me interact with the community. Like I said, it's a great place to work. They have a great life-work balance that's very important to them as a company. And that's why we have a lot of great hires and great products. So our people believe in them. Am I a college graduate? I am a college graduate, actually. I have 2 degrees. I have an associate and a bachelor's. Which is interesting. I have an interesting story. Because I started late in life. Maruku. No, I am not a Jersey boy. No, I'm not. I'm actually a Southern boy. But now I live in the West. Okay, so let's copy this slide. And we'll say, using the Prism template pack. Okay, it's a prop. Creates a property. Yep, getter, setter, command delegate, view model, blank project, module project. User control window view model. That looks about right. That looks about right there. My love money. I am working at a small startup, but now I feel like living that job because it's very frustrating and my health is getting worse each day. Oh, leaving. You feel about leaving that job. Yeah, it's tough. Like, you know, there's a lot of things to think about when you have a job. What's important to you as a person? If money is important to you, then you're going to find a job where you're working yourself to death trying to earn a dollar, right? You're working for a paycheck. But keep in mind, at any moment in time, that paycheck can just go away. You could be laid off. You could be, fired. Your job could be removed, like just discontinued. Like, oh, this job doesn't exist anymore. The company can go out of business. The company can sell to somebody. You get bought out, and the new owner doesn't have. They're gonna downside, like whatever. Like, yeah, my philosophy is just a little different. Okay, so I think these slides are almost done. There's a little sticking point. I'm not real happy with this flow up here. I think we could work on this flow a little bit up here. Specifically around the NuGet packages area. Detonated. Brian, will it take long to learn WPF and all of its subsidies? I think that's... subtleties, that's what you say. Okay, I'd love to work for infrastructure, but I have to relocate. Well, the thing is if you work in infragistics, you're not necessarily going to be working on WPF. And I've been using WPF for, oh my God, since it came out. I think the initial release was like in 2006, right? So I've been using it since the beginning. So I know all of its subtleties. Down to the memory leak you probably don't know you have, but you do. Like just really simple stuff, little tricks, but that just comes with experience, right? Comes with experience. Maruku Gyms, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Thanks for following me and joining me on my journey. Should be fun. Why do I look like Doctor Strange? Do I look like Doctor Strange? I guess I need to wear a cape. The cape with the big collar, right? I'm actually bigger than Doctor Strange, just so you know. There's that, I'm adding a little arrogance into that, right? Detonated. I have like 5 to 6 years experience with C++ and C#, but my knowledge is not focused in WPF. If you work for a company like Infragistics, we work on every single platform. Yes, we do WPF work. We do WinForms, but we do Xamarin. Xamarin Forms, Xamarin iOS, Xamarin Android, ASP.NET, ASP.NET Core, ASP.NET MVC, Angular, React, Vue, Blazor. We do it all, right? So you're really going to become a polyglot if you work for a company like me. Like me. If you work for a company like Infragistics, you'll become more of a polyglot programmer where you're touching everything. You're knowledgeable about everything, right? And I think that's more important than being an expert in one thing. Oh, yeah, WPF 2006. Awesome. I wasn't quite sure. I couldn't quite remember when WPF first came out. My Love and Money. At what age did you get your first job and how old are you currently? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't mind talking about this. I actually started a little late in life in programming. Actually, I was in the Army as infantry for 4 years. And then I was a cop for a while. When I got out of the Army, I was medically discharged. I got injured in the line of duty. And they said, oh, you're broken. We can't use you anymore. And they kicked me out. You're no good to us. Get out of here. So I got my medical discharge in about 2001. I think I got medically discharged. Then I became a cop. Hated that job. And then I used my benefits as a disabled veteran to go to school. Actually, I'm kind of running out of time, so let's go ahead and just kind of chat. Right? But yeah, so I hated that job. I hated being a cop. It really sucked. And so I used my benefits as a disabled veteran to go to school for 3D animation development, like 3D animation application development or something. I was going to be an animator, essentially. I forgot the name of the actual program, but I learned 3D animation, right, using like Maya and not Visual Studio, 3D Studio Max, right? all the animation stuff and design and drawing and Photoshop and Illustrator, all that stuff. So I got a degree in that. But then I discovered programming during my animation courses. And I'm like, ooh, I like this too. Actually, I like this much better. And so I got another degree in software engineering. My first degree was an associate's. I only went for 2 years. And then my next degree was actually a bachelor's in software engineering. So I did that. And then my very first job, I got development job. I got while I was in school. And it was for a company called Washington Group International, which was then bought out by another company called URS. But I was there for a few years, and I was their web developer. I was one of their web developers. And then I moved into their application development team with WinForms. I wrote their first Silverlight app. I wrote their first WPF app, right? So yeah, I've had an interesting story. And so I'm 40 years old now. But I didn't start programming until, man, I think I started my school in 2003 or 4. So I started school around there. It's hard to remember exactly. Can't really remember. Did I graduate in 05? Could have graduated. I don't remember. I don't remember when I graduated with my software engineering degree. But I was in my mid-20s. Because when I got out of the Army, I took a year off because I had to do rehabilitation and physical therapy and all that stuff. And then after I was better, I did the cop thing. So that's 2001. That's 2, 3. Yeah, it might have been 2005-ish. When I got my first job, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember. So yeah, I've been coding for 15 years. Coding. Like full time. Dang, I'm old. Man, that brings back some memories back then. That's old. Man, I'm old. But I've had a lot of interesting jobs over the years. Like while I was in school, because I needed some extra money. So part of the benefit of being a disabled veteran was I got what's called Chapter 31. And so what that is, it's a program for disabled veterans that pays for your school 100%, right? And then they pay for all your books and everything, and then they give you a monthly stipend to live off of. And back then, it wasn't that much. It was like $1,000 a month, I think, tax-free to live off of, right? So I did that, but I needed some extra money. So at one point, I was the video editor for a news station. So you know when the newscaster is up there and they're telling stories, and then right here on the like the left or right shoulder of them, they have a video playing, and they cut to videos. I would edit all those videos, and then I would be in the control room, like swapping out the videos for each story, right, as the newscaster is talking. So I would edit them, then be in the control room, switching out all the tapes. That was a fun experience back then. And MemSoft, I also did the cop thing for 7 years. Awesome, man. I could not last 7 years. That job sucked, man. That job sucked. At least where I was, it sucked really bad. I didn't like it one bit. I lasted just over a year before I said, nope, I don't like where my life is going, so I'm going to make a drastic change. So I quit, and I went to school in a completely different career field. Now, a lot of people say, well, why did you do a cop thing in the first place? Well, you got to keep in mind, I was infantry in the U.S. Army. All I knew how to do was I trained to kill and fight and go to war. It's all I knew how to do. And so when I was going to be a lifer. Like, I was going to be a 20-year retired veteran. I would have been retired already, actually. This year would have been my last year. No, actually, I would have retired 2 years ago because I joined when I was 18. So I would have been retired 2 years ago. Anyways, and so I got injured in the line of duty, and they're like, We can't keep you as infantry. You can't do your job anymore. You're broken. And so my life is like, oh my God, it's just turned upside down. My whole plan was ruined in an instant. So, like, what the hell am I going to do? And so obviously, the only thing that I could even think of doing is, well, I'll just be a cop. And it was really easy to become one. Actually, it was quite sad because when you try out to be a police officer, you got to go through your physical, and you got to get polygraphs and psychic valves and all this crazy stuff. But I was just amazed at how poorly people performed at, like, most of the stuff. At the shooting range, like, the physical test they give you, like, everyone else who was trying to be a cop, they sucked. Like, holy crap, are you kidding me? You can't run a mile? You gotta walk? What? Anyways, I got stories from that from a long time ago. But yeah, so I did that because that's all I knew. MMSoft, I was CID in U.S. Army. Degrees in criminology. Oh, nice. And now software developer. Go figure. Exactly, right? Funny how that works. But yeah. And so I did the cop thing for a little over a year, and I wasn't happy. Was not happy. I worked night shift, and it was 12-hour shifts, and it was at night. It was from 6 at night to 6 in the morning. And I just didn't like it. So I took a gamble. I quit. Straight up quit. And I changed the direction of my life by setting a new goal and going for that goal. And it's worked out great for me personally, though I had a lot of help. You know, I had a great support system. At the time, I was living with my brother. And then, because when I was in the Army, I lived in Hawaii. And so I was there for 4 years. And when they kick you out, at least back then, I don't know how it is now. Back then, the Army doesn't say, give you time to help you find a place to live or find a job anywhere. They're just like, oh, yeah, your time's up. Where do we send your stuff? And here's your plane ticket. Like, wait a minute. I don't have anywhere to go. Like, what do I do? Like, I don't care. Just where do we send your stuff? So luckily, my brother at the time, he lived in Idaho. I'm saying, hey, bro, I got nowhere else to go. Can I come stay with you till I get on my feet? And so, you know, my brother's one of the big reasons I am where I am today, because he actually gave me that support system I needed. Otherwise, I could have been one of those homeless vets when you get out and you have nowhere to go. You have no job. You don't have money because in the Army, you don't get paid anything. I think I was making $600 a month in the Army. $600 a month. I looked at my pay stub from back then. It's like, that's pathetic. You know, you leave the Army, you have no savings. You know, you don't have any, like, it was horrible. You have nothing. You get out with nothing. And so I can see how easy it is for veterans to become homeless, because when they're out, you get nothing. And yeah, don't even get me started. Like, I can go on and on about my experiences of getting out of the military, the experiences with the VA, trying to get my benefits, trying to get my medical benefits. It was all a nightmare, but I had a great support system, right? MMSoft. I recall attending a seminar you taught as an infotechnics evangelist. Oh, wow. That must have been a while ago. Maruku's Gym. That's terrible. Yeah. You know what? But it's made me who I am today, right? I wouldn't change anything, but I had a great support system. I met my wife not long after I got out. And then so when my brother got tired of me, I moved in with my girlfriend. At the time, she was my girlfriend. Now she's my wife. We've been together 19 years now. But her family took me in, right? And so I've always had a good support system, and you got to have one yourself. No one becomes successful by themselves. They always have help. Someone always helps you. And so I think that's why I'm so drawn to sharing what I do know with my community every chance I get. I always want to try to help people, try to help lift people up. Every chance I get, I always try to help. And it may not be a big deal to some people, but some other people it's life-changing, right? Helping someone get a job to support their family, learning the skills they need to know so they can land that interview or whatever it is. It makes it all worth it for me, right? MMSoft. Very long time ago. I've been coding since mid-'80s. Wow. Yeah, you got a lot more experience than I do. D base, C, C++. I have a little bit of C++, only what they taught me in school. Then we went from C++ to Java, then Java to .NET. I actually went to a school that taught .NET, which was awesome, right? Yeah. Man, memories. You guys are bringing back memories now. But yeah, I wouldn't change anything. You know, everything I've been through up to this point, all my jobs, all my education, and my experience with the community, it's really made me who I am today. And another thing that I would recommend is finding some people to connect with, like maybe mentors, right? Maybe find some mentors of your own. I had 2 great mentors in my development career. If it wasn't for them, I would not be as involved in the community as I am now. The first one is Scott Nichols, and the other is David Starr. Those 2 individuals really shaped and formed me and my community contributions as of today. And they're still really good friends to this day. So I always suggest finding people that you can connect with and can help mentor you. It's invaluable. It's invaluable. SFC Sarge, Sergeant First Class, U.S. Army retired. So how many civilian jobs take care of you after you leave? Give me a break. None. One job. So that first web job I had, actually, I would say, took advantage of me. But essentially, because I was a disabled veteran, they were able to get some tax write-off from the government. So they had me fill out some form every year so they can save so many thousands of dollars in taxes because they hired a disabled veteran, right? But they wouldn't compensate my pay for that, right? I mean, but then again, I was just starting out, so I couldn't be too picky about what I was getting paid, which wasn't much back then. I don't know if that program still exists, but there are, some companies that will hire you just because you are a veteran, just to get that tax benefit for an employee. So they'll fill a seat and they'll get a tax benefit for hiring you. I don't know if that's still around, and I don't know if that applies to just disabled vets or all vets. I don't know. But back then, they definitely took advantage of that position. Honestly, the only job that really takes care of me, honestly, I feel has my interest at heart, is Infragistics. This is the only company where I've actually felt like we're a family. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cliche to say stuff like that. Yeah, it's a job. Granted, they're a business. They got to make money. But they honestly make me feel like I'm a part of the family. And I've been there 8 years now. It's the longest I've ever been at any job. And the life-work balance is great. They pay fair. The benefits are fair. I mean, I couldn't be happier with where I am today. And so every chance I get, I try to give a shout out to Infragistics. As much as I can, because they really have done a lot for me and they continue to do a lot for me. How many companies do you know let you work on an open source project during your working hours? A lot. How many companies actually give you funding to pay for things for your open source project? Or they give you time, 2 hours a day, twice a week, to stream live during work hours. So 4 hours out of my week, I stream, and they let me do that. I mean, it's a great, great company to work for, right? American Corp partners, which help find other vets jobs after they leave the service. Yeah, back when I got out, I didn't get any of those services. When I was PCS, not PCS, that's permanent change of station. Oh my God. I went through med board. I did my med board. There's another acronym. It's been 20 years. I don't remember all the acronyms anymore. But essentially, as I was processing out, I didn't get any of those services. You had an hour class where they taught you how to write a resume and things like that, but they didn't actually help you get a job, apply for jobs or set anything up, or here's some housing in the area you want to live in. We can, help set you up with housing or nothing. No, it's where do we send your stuff? Here's a plane ticket. Where are you going? Okay, bye. Good luck. Right. And then at that time, being infantry, I'm not gonna lie, I had an attitude with me. In infantry, you're molded to think a certain way, right? You're molded to think and act and behave a certain way. So when I got out, I was not a nice person. It took years for me to civilianize. Like, they don't teach you how to be a civilian when you get out. And a lot of people don't understand that. If you have not been in the military, people who come out, they can't just be a civilian. It took years and years and the support of a very good woman and her family to help mold me into a civilian and change my mindset. Even today, I still have my little things. Like, I don't like being in large crowds. I don't like doors to my back. I'm always, looking at exits. I always know where my exits are. A lot of situational awareness. So I still have a lot of things that I deal with, even though I was in 20 years ago, right? But yeah, it's interesting. But yes, MMSoft, MOS, the military official specialty or something like that. That's the job, MOS. I was 11 Bravo. But there's a name of a process as you get out of the military, and I forgot what the name of that process was. But I did go through a medical board, MEB, which is a medical evaluation board, because I was injured in light duty, and you had to get like benefits. And then when I got out, I had to fight the VA for my disability percentage, and I had to appeal, and it went through for like 2 years just to get a percentage that I thought was even fair enough to just say, okay, I'm tired of fighting. Oh, 95D. I'm not familiar with that one. 95D. That's something intelligence. I don't remember. Oh, duh. CID. 13B40, 76Y40, and finished 75Z40. Wow. I don't even know what the Z40s are. I've never seen those before. Holy cow. Did you recently retire? Are you just now getting out? Sarge? Or I'm just curious. Oh, 1993. Okay. Yeah, so I was medically discharged in 2001. My official discharge date was September 1st, 2001. Remember that date. That's when I got my official separation orders. And then what happened 10 days later? September 11th. Talk about timing, right? But yeah, it's interesting. It's not all bad, right? It's not all bad. We have certain benefits that a lot of people don't. 3 years in 25th Hawaii as Cannon Cock. I was stationed in Hawaii. Alpha Company, 2nd Battalion, 35th Infantry Unit. 25th ID. Yes, I was there 4 years, Schofield Barracks. But I was in from 97 to 2001. I don't know what, it sounds like you were in much earlier than I was. If you retired in 93, I didn't even go in till 97. So we weren't on the base at the same time. But that's pretty crazy. That's a small world. 72 to 75. Yeah. That's crazy. Very small world. What are the chances of that? What are the chances? I don't run into many 25th ID personnel. And there's like, a lot of people don't know, like on Hawaii, there's like 5 military bases on Oahu. That's crazy. You have like Schofield, Wheeler, Kaneohe, a Marine base. What is it? Camp David, I think, if I remember correctly. And there's one more by Pearl Harbor. I guess you can count Pearl Harbor. Yeah, there's a lot of military bases on Oahu, just the island of Oahu. But because you're in Hawaii, you are highly deployed. You get deployed a lot because you're in the Asia Pacific, so you get deployed a lot. This is just how it is. But you get to see the world. Sure, it's the worst parts of the world. And the crappiest weather, the crappiest terrain, and heat or freezing cold, and, you know, no bathrooms. You get to dig holes to go to the bathroom, and, yeah, it's MREs all the time, and, yeah. I never had a tent to sleep in. Never had a tent. It's ridiculous. Anyways, you know what? I know we went off the rails on this one. I know we went from a Pluralsight slide deck to talking about my experiences in the military and, you know, and making that transition from infantry to civilian to developer, right? Mongoose hunter. Yeah. Dude, the one thing about, if you ever go to Hawaii, let's just say their cockroaches are ridiculously large, and those things fly. They're like pterodactyls. We're talking massive, massive bugs over there. They're mosquitoes or birds. Like, I don't know what the heck's going on, but it's very interesting. A lot of red dirt. Tons of red dirt. Put them on fire watch. They're petrifying. All right, everyone. Thanks for chatting with me today. Thanks for joining me on the stream. I think what I'm gonna do now is let's go ahead and find someone to let's raid a channel. Who is, you know what? CLW. CLW is online right now. So let's go ahead and see what CLW is up to. Tell him I said hi. It is lunchtime for me. My wife will be here very soon. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I had a great time. Got some slides knocked out. And we had a great conversation about the military and life after the military. And maybe we could talk about that more, later on. So thank you once again. I appreciate every one of you for joining me today. You could spend your time anywhere else doing anything else, and you chose to spend it with me, and I highly appreciate your support. I will see you next Tuesday. Everyone, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Let's raid.